Thrill Me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Core memory unlocked.
Horror.
15 years ago, I was told there was nothing left.
Better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice.
A ver, hijo de la chingada, deja de estar viendo memes, pendejo.
¡A la verga, me vale verga, perro! ¡Y cállate a la verga, hija de tu...
Hey.
Welcome in to a brand new 2-in-1 week Core Memory Unlocked horror. I am Zach. That is Wonderful.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. See, he wore his one Ghostbusters shirt. I'm wearing my Ghostbusters 2 shirt. Got my other Ghostbuster hat. I'm ready to go.
See, I got my other Ghostbusters shirt ready to go for Thursday night cinema cafe.
You guys said, "Oh, you did the ad. There it is.
You did the ad. Look at me. I'm having a day, baby. I'm on a roll today.
You're living it. I like it. I like
karaoke as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God. Yeah, don't get us hit with a copyright strike, please, sir. We met the guy. So he's talking about Thursday, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire premiere at the Cinnamon Cafe? Yes, the Cinnamon Cafe. Cinema Cafe, Edinburgh location, which is 1864 Edinburgh Lane, Chesapeake, Virginia, 23322. We will be there doing a live Haunters episode at 7. Then at 7:45, we're going to start some trivia with the people out in the world going to go see the Ghostbusters. And let's see who's going to win some fun prizes that we got in store for you. Mm-hmm. So how about that? Actually, Cinema Cafe just had a press release.
I saw that.
And we're in it. We're in the press release. How about that?
Look at us.
How about that? We're press releasing.
We're big time, man. We're very big time. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Also, we're going to do the watch along for Afterlife.
Tomorrow. Well, I guess technically
tonight?
The day you hear this. Yes.
If you're watching this the day this dropped, it's tonight. If you are watching it after, sign up to our Patreon. There it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide. I know I put game stream just because I wanted something to do for Wednesday. So I'm either going to play Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed and stream that, or I might play Rocket League as the Ecto 1 and just talk some Ghostbuster stuff, or I might be kooky and see if I could get away with this copyright and do a kind of mini watch along to the real Ghostbusters on the channel. So,
I think there's a way to pull that off. We'll discuss after. I think
there's channels that show it, so I'm kind of thinking I could get away with it.
There's a way to do it. I feel like you just kind of have to more Mystery Science Theater it.
Okay.
Or like sideways camera that, but have you regular way. There's some
things. Oh no, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And if it falls flat on its face, I can always go to the game stream.
Dave Coulier would be very excited for you to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Peter Venkman
He needs some love.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad that when I met him, I did not get the opportunity to tell him that he is my second favorite Peter Venkman, because my first one is, of course, Bassmasters. Bassmasters. Just to find a way to circle us into this.
Dave Coulier is the Bassmasters. I guess he's the psychic. of of the Peter Venkmans. That's amazing.
Oh my god, that's great.
That's kind of great. What's the other one? Bassmasters, which is a reference to today's movie that we were watching. So good segue there. We are going to talk Ghostbusters 2, 1989's Ghostbusters 2, and I can't wait to kind of dive into it because I don't think on the show we've really given its proper viewing or talk about. So before we get into it, let's watch this trailer for 1989's Ghostbusters 2. Here we go. Let's see what they got for me. Okay, definitely looks old school.
Oh, okay.
At the stroke of midnight,
Nice.
on New Year's Eve of the last...
I remember this trailer. I remember this
America's
one.
largest city is about to pay for the nastiness of its inhabitants. When that day comes,
Holy crap, that's great.
You fucking
when the slime
delinquents.
starts to rise,
The Titanic just arrived.
when ghosts start arriving
The
by
trailer,
boatload,
man.
We gotta find the guys.
there's only one thing to do.
Sir,
Sometimes weird things happen.
happen.
Someone has to deal with it.
And who you gonna call?
And who are you gonna call?
Suck in the chest, boys.
Suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters.
The superstars of the supernatural
Hot.
are back to nuke the spooks.
Father,
Two in the box.
ready to go. We be fast and they be slow.
Make some time.
Don't put any of those old cheap moves on me.
Oh, no.
It's different.
I have
All new moves.
Raise your spirits.
If we don't do something by midnight, you will be remembered in history as the man who let New York get sucked down into the 10th level of hell.
Oh, okay.
Keep some slime.
Looks like a giant jello mold. I hate jello.
Oh,
There's always
Hello. Yeah. Nice.
Happy New Year. Close them.
Ghostbusters 2.
You're short. Your belly button sticks out too far, and you're a terrible burden on your poor mother.
Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis, and Ernie Hudson.
Oh, wow. No Annie
And
Potts.
Ivan Reitman film. Ghostbusters 2.
You're the best. We're the beautiful.
We're the only Ghostbusters.
Who you gonna call?
I'll take that. That's actually a pretty decent trailer with
good
not showing everything known to man.
You would have no idea that this
About
dealt
Vigo.
that this dealt with evil painting.
All it dealt with was the schmucks, the delinquents, and the deadbeats of New York City.
I love that. I love that cell. New York City is about to pay for its crimes because of all of you kids that are
Shitheads.
miserable assholes.
That's-
Because it's
Hey,
every God-given New Yorker's
God-given
right to be a miserable asshole.
I love that quote from the mayor. I think that's my favorite quote of his. It's every New Yorker's God-given right.
It's how I feel as a New Yorker. It's how I feel coming from. People. You're from Long Island. You're the suburbs. I'm more New York City than anything upstate, so I feel that line. All right.
It's very it's a telling of its time. Like this movie, Ghostbusters 2 is during this time. New York was always called almost this hellhole kind of place. I mean, in the same year we do get Jason Takes Manhattan. And it's pretty much the same deal, except they could only film it in Canada. Yeah. But where does this movie lie for you from then to now?
This film still remains one of my favorites. I loved this movie growing up. I still enjoy this movie. I, for a very long time in life, thought oh, this movie must have been as beloved as the original, only to find out that there's kind of a weird, people like it, but people don't really love it. People kind of forget about it. People kind of don't want to remember it. And I was like, oh, I'm surprised at how much this wasn't as beloved as the original. But now that I've also gotten older and the more times I watch it, well, my opinion of it hasn't changed. It is still a great film. I loved watching it as a kid. I still love anytime I get a chance to watch it. I like watching it around the holidays because of the Christmas New Year's theme. But I also can watch it, in March just and be like, hey, it was a hell of a fun little ride there to watch that film. But you mentioned the real Ghostbusters earlier. It is interesting. The more I grew, like the older I got, and as we talked about in the other one, the original 84 one, noticing things and being able to notice how toned down this one is and how much more real Ghostbusters it actually is.
I think I'm going to piggyback off of that is because as interesting as the first movie is, as the jokes of the movie just grow with you. Like, oh, I understood this. I get this. I think the interesting part about this movie is you do get older and you notice, oh, wow, they do kind of give it more towards a child's base. Like, there is no cigarettes in this. Dan Aykroyd's not smoking. Peter Venkman's not smoking. They do have less sexualized jokes towards it. Though we do find out if Statue of Liberty is French. If she wears underwear.
She's naked under there. We also get the Eddie Potts, Rick Moranis hookup.
And it's they're very cartoony, they're very cartoony because Rick Moranis' character has a side plot with Slimer, who was at that time the big deal. Fuck, Slimer, named in this movie as Slimer, they didn't have a name for him in the first movie. No. So him being being called Slimer in this is in direct response because of the cartoon.
Oh yeah. And
that's wild.
And I remember the cartoon, watching the real Ghostbusters cartoon growing up. So I think that might be why I really enjoyed this one at a young age as well. I also did find it scary at a young age, with the red eyes and Janos and stuff like that. Like, it actually is in ways as scary as the original, but it's just toned down a little bit, and not in a bad way.
It's funny because I don't know if it's scarier, but what I do love about this one that they kind of use more is the use of not showing the ghost. So like at the beginning, Dana Barrett's talking to the soup at the building and the baby's starting to roll. Like, that's some scary stuff that's going on there. And then even fast forward to the ending where the ghost is tying her up, where the guys are messing with her. Like, it's scarier when they don't show it. The court scene when the chairs are flying before the ghosts show up. That's pretty creepy. I think that's a really good use of that. But I don't know if any of the usage... Okay, let's just settle it right here. As much as I love the little guy, I don't think we needed him. As much as I love him, the guy who's helping Vigo.
Janish.
Yeah, Janish.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a little bit of a cartoonish character.
Yes, he is. And I'm not saying, like, I don't mean it like I don't like him, because every time he's on the screen, he has adorable lines. Like, why is that every time I tell you, hey, let's go do something, you have no idea, you can't do it? Yeah. Or when the painting takes him, he's like, wow. He's like, evil. Right.
Yes.
A child. Right, exactly. Vigo, you will be mother of the most powerful evil entity. Wouldn't that be nice? I love that. But
the Upper West Side.
But when he comes flying in like he's fucking Mary Poppins and arms Oscar, like, those are the scenes that kind of take you out of it.
Okay, I'm happy you brought that up, because that was one thing that I wanted to ask. Like, that was a big jump from the first film to this one, and like, so how did that happen?
Yeah, how did he turn to a ghost? Right.
That could, Mary Poppins Oscar out into the
Right.
ledge so that it can be there to steal them. Like,
Right. Like it's one of those things where I feel like this sequel, and I do like this movie. I do not
Yeah.
get it twisted, but like it was like, okay, we want a sequel. Use the skeleton because there are some beat by beat same things, like
The
all the way
montage.
up and yeah, the montage all the way up to the mayor needing them. Like a lot of it still the standard stuff, but the things that really helped the movie for me, I love Dana and Venkman's relationship, like the progression of trying to regrow back together. I think that's fun. I love that all the Ghostbusters seem to get to play and get their own scenes. That's a scary scene when they go into the Winston. That's some scary stuff.
What about the packs? What about the packs?
Did you get the plate number on that? Nope, just missed it. Like that, I love that they got to play without Venkman taking too much over.
Yeah. Bill Murray, like when we talked about with that article from the previous episode with
Right.
the love romance and blah blah blah. This one is more of a romance story. Venkman actually and Dana are really like, this film totally takes that and runs with that romance, like lovers that had broken up that we know really should be together, that do balance each other out, that are now reconnecting, and we're watching that. Well, you're right. The other three get to do the goofy kind of go about, get to look for the cockroach migration and all of that, and really get to have those fun Ghostbuster moments. But I'm happy you brought up Winston, because Winston gets a lot more in this one, which does help for the setup for where we eventually, got to with, as we'll see with Afterlife, and then it'll be explored more in Frozen Empire with him.
Right.
I liked what they did, just to jump to the Afterlife post-credit scene, but I liked what they did there with him and Annie Potts with Ernie and them being like, I always loved being a Ghostbuster, because it felt like it was something he would, like Ernie Hudson would say.
Legitimately yeah.
I love being this. And then you get the Winston character of, and I was able to make great financial decisions, so I'm happy to be back again. There's actually Ernie. Like, it was that awesome melding moment of, how much this means to all of us does mean the same to all of them. Even to Bill Murray, who is, which is why it has taken so long to get another film, because he cares enough about the character.
I think so.
I will make that argument that he cares enough about the character. And yes, we all know he truthfully doesn't like doing sequels.
Yeah.
But he's willing to do a sequel if he thinks it's right, unless it's, Garfield 2, there's always that. But
but I do feel that his love for this. Yeah, he's protective of it, because part 2, I think what happens with part 2, and this is just like me theorizing, is like, we want to do it again, but because there was no predecessor to the one before, and now there is that, you have the studio coming in being like, no, we need this. We're selling to kids. We're doing the commercial where you have the mug and the balloons. Ecto 1 is now Ecto 1A. Ecto 1A, and we got to make the car even better. We have to have the 2 emblem, because you can tell there's a lot of more of that studio feel, which makes it less rock and roll for him. So I think with his world, he was like, I'm too scared to jump back into that. And for the longest time, I shit you not, I was like, Bill Murray, as much as I loved him, I was like, Bill Murray is kind of harshing my mellow on this Ghostbuster property, but really it just took the right filmmakers and the right belief, because in fairness, he is in Ghostbusters 2016. So he did believe in something with that. And I think he should have, and I get they weren't playing the same characters, and I get fan response, but at the same time, he did give a blessing to it. But I just love that you can kind of see where where he does have this kind of love that he's not willing to talk about, because I think it's, I just saw William Shatner, and you can tell he's kind of aggressive towards the Kirk stuff, but Bill Murray, I don't feel pushes it in that vein.
Yeah. I think he's always, and when you see him out, he's very vocal about the property. And he doesn't need the property at this point in his career, no matter what. No. Like, he can go do, what was it, Monuments Men or whatever it is. He can go do a Wes Anderson film. He loves doing that stuff. He loves those types of stuff. And I love seeing Bill Murray play weird, eccentric Wes Anderson characters. Like, honest to God, the reason why I like Wes Anderson films is because of Rushmore. Because I demanded to go see Rushmore. And
because Bill Murray was
in it. Like, I had to go see Bill Murray in that movie. So
that's why I love Life Aquatica. Because it was like, and for him, he was the star of it. It wasn't like just an ensemble piece. He was the star of the ensemble piece. So I was like, oh, I get to see my comedic hero back as the lead. So back to the movie, Ghostbusters 2. What do you think about Oscar? Like, what's Oscar to you?
Oscar to me is really just, he's a plot point.
Yeah.
He's just a thread to keep, he's the thread to Dana and Venkman. He's the thread for, really
the villain.
The villain.
The villain, because he needs the baby's body.
He needs the baby's body, which, inevitably is what brings Venkman back to Dana and Dana back to him. So I think it's fine. It's always tricky, and again, I think this plays into the kind of kidding it down a little bit more, where how do you make it high stakes for families? Well, you involve a baby,
right?
The parents that are there with their kids are gonna, and actually, honest to God, like, thinking about it, like, if you saw this film in 84, with your wife, and then you had a kid in 84, you had a kid in 84, chances are you're taking that kid at that point, because 4 to 5?
Yeah, almost 5.
Almost 5.
That's decent. That's a decent age.
That's probably going to go take them to see the movie, and it's going to engage them enough with the visual effects of what? The cool costumes, the cool everything.
Because this one's done by ILM. Industrial Light Magic. So
I think that's kind of what Oscar is it's the way to make the parent that's there with their 4-year-old, or the person that just had a kid that having a date night is like, oh god, if that was my kid on the fucking ledge, oh god, if that was my kid being taken by freaking Janish and Ghost Janish that's not dead but just, I guess that's one of the things. Yeah.
He just has powers.
That's our next Haunter shirt. Yanish powers.
Yanish powers. Okay. What do you think about Splash Mommy?
Had to go there, huh?
Had to go there. It's Splash Mommy. But on the real, that scene, that's a good scene because of the water into slime and transforms. Yeah. That is a scary scene. That is pretty scary.
Tries to eat their friend's baby.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that. And to go back just really quick, I know we're just jumping around. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters 2, go fuck yourself, watch it. But just thinking about some of the scenes, one of our bits, and I love that we did this at HHN, was when the Ghostbusters theme's going and we say, who you going to call? He-Man. That's a bit from, and that to me is why the movie stands the test, because there are moments of them doing the cutting on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And the cops coming up. Oh, what'd I tell you? The phone lines were over there. What'd I tell you? Ziggy.
Hey, we called the Con Ed. You're not with them. Why don't you give me another one?
I got 500 power lines down here. Where do you think this is coming from? The sky? I love Venkman's ultimate trying to bullshit out of this. And then the courtroom's really good.
Oh, yeah. The courtroom is great.
I love
Story Brothers.
I mean, I love Venkman leading the witness, leading the defense. They didn't know, and I turned into a dog, and they saved me. Thank you. Like, Rick Moranis getting to play more in this was really good as well.
Yeah, and it was just it's such a like it definitely leans more into the comedy this time around. And I would maybe argue that this one like has more of the quotable moments. In all honesty.
I mean, maybe.
Like the first one definitely has the quotable moments. You know, you can definitely quote the first one, like tell them about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie? You know, like you can get a few like. But honest to God, Ghostbusters 2 is, like you said, who you going to call? He-Man. Like, you can just, that's okay, Lewis. We got arrested at night. You know, like, there's just so many moments from the movie that you can just quote. For no reason, like, and they fit into, like, I've done it before, like, joking around, like, with the dogs and stuff like that, where, like, where I pulled out my jet shirt and I'm like, I got this from a very special friend, you know, like, and I've just started talking like Bill Murray would to the kid, like,
you're short, you're hurting on your poor mother. Yeah. And we've all done it.
Yeah, like, this film, I obsessively quote. Even the a child. Like, I say that, like, anytime somebody brings up, like, oh, yeah, did you see the child? I always am like, the child. You know, like, I don't know, man.
What do you think of Vigo?
Ah, yes, I actually wrote that down.
The Carpathian.
So, Vigo the Carpathian. No Gozer.
Yeah, definitely no Gozer.
Definitely a step down, but I will say maybe created one of the most iconic paintings from cinema.
Yeah.
Like, outside of, you know, maybe early Da Vinci or something like that.
Right.
From
I
Leonardo.
think it's a part of the fettuccinis.
Yeah, outside of that, you know, I would say that that's probably one of the most iconic, like a very iconic villain, but in all honesty,
but had no play.
Yeah. No, like is a nothing villain. Janos is a bigger villain.
In fairness, I mean, Janos has more of the lines and such to go. But what's interesting to me, if I'm right, I'm not seeing it right now. I'm trying to make sure I can find it. But it's not the actor who's playing the voice. I believe it's Christopher Plummer playing Vigo's voice.
Is it?
I think it's Christopher Plummer. I want to make sure. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's Max Van Syl.
Okay.
He plays the voice of Vigo, which Max Van Syl, if you are, I'm saying it wrong, Sydow. He died in 2020, but he was in The Force Awakens, Minority Report, Flash Gordon. He was the Emperor. Like, he's played a lot of hit roles, but like the thing about Vigo for me, it was all the lead up to the end that worked for me. I loved the talking head. I loved the head coming out of the painting. I love all that. But that final act, it's just like 3 minutes, we beat this guy.
Yeah, it is super. Yeah, I'm happy you brought up the final act because I did notice this time around that the whole sequence really is like not even 10 minutes. It's 5.
It's 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
yeah.
5 minutes.
I was like, this is super quick. Yeah. Pose him.
Yeah.
Where, you know, and then like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
You know, and then, oh, darn it. Oh, darn, which, by the way, another moment where you can see how they toned down even the language where they would not have said, oh, darn it, in the first film.
Those are some of my favorite too, where he's like, Ray, how you doing? Can you move? No? How are you? I'm hurting. How about you, Venkman? I'm fine.
But then before, as well as a bit at like Universal on like Mummy or something, where how you doing? I'm fine.
I love only a bonehead would come back and I go to San Fernando Valley. Oh darn! Oh darn!
Yeah, and then you get the singing outside, and
I think it's cheesy.
Yeah.
It definitely has its flaws. I mean, obviously, the Statue of Liberty is just way too out. I think once you reach that point, if you're not into the movie, that's the point where you're like, I'm good. Because it is kind of a checkout thing. I get it. Oh, we had a Stay Puft. Now we want a different Stay Puft. I get it.
Yeah. And that's a good point on, like, if you never notice the same beats. That 100% is Stay Puft.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Now he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's the face turn. And how do you do that? With the most patriotic thing you can get from New Jersey. And I love that because nobody's talking about that. The Ghostbusters straight up swiped that from Jersey.
It's pure. I mean, I like it, and I still will always like it, but I definitely think there's this different thing with it now with all these sequels, and I'm hoping that growing older with it now, especially with Afterlife and Frozen Empire and God knows what we get, I hope it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Because I think there are good points to this movie.
Okay, so overall, I do think that this is well worth a rewatch. If it's been a while since you rewatched it, you'll have a great time with it. But I also think that this might be the best one to rewatch leading into this new one, because the vibe and feel that I get from Frozen Empire is more similar to this one. In the sense of like the real Ghostbusters feel.
Right.
What they're going to be dealing with is very like you really need to go with it.
It's out there. It's out there, ghosts.
Yeah, like the first one is you need to go with it because yes, there's demon dog possessions, the statue. I get it. You need to go with it.
Right.
But by the time you get there, the foundation that they built for that was very. They built the mythos at that point that you could believe it because they were like, no, like. There was a god and people that worship somebody that a god like that will come and destroy the planet, and it's like, oh, okay, you can believe that, like that's believable.
Right.
This time around, it's like we're gonna hose it down for good vibes and ride the
good slide.
Your love is lifting me higher. New York.
Don't mess with her. She's a harbor chick.
Should have gotten her some Nikes. I
love it.
Again. Why are we able to quote that entire scene?
You're right though. But, we shouldn't.
But again, the vibe I get from the trailers of this one is kind of that like goofy. I mean, you see Finn get slimed, and he does the, and Slimer.
It's going to have some cartoon. It's definitely going to be cartoony, and you're probably right. You heard it here first. Ghostbusters 2 walked so Frozen Empire could run.
Exactly,
and I'm good with that because that's what it is. Ghostbusters 2. Use some of the techniques from the real Ghostbusters, and that didn't play to the movie audience because the movie audience didn't necessarily watch the cartoon. But with this new one, and them been outright saying, oh, it's going to be like a cartoon, which now us as kids are the adults watching that version, and maybe that's why 2 has always stayed with us, and maybe that'll give this one a leg up. I'm hopeful. I'm still looking forward to this one, and I can't wait to watch it. But that was Ghostbusters 2, ladies and gentlemen.
What a talk!
What a talk! And if you want to hear us talk some more, come on out to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire red carpet premiere at the Cinema Cafe Edinburgh location. We'll be there at 7 p.m. We're going to try their Slimer. Wonderful's already tried it. I don't want them to spoil it here. I'm gonna judge it for myself. I want to ectoplasm inside my body.
You're gonna ectoplasm yourself.
Yeah. So make sure you come on out for some trivia, fun times, and a spooky time because the Ghostbusters is going to be playing. So I guess that is that, and we will catch you on the next one. slime me.